Welcome back to another episode of The Road Chose Me. My name's Dan, and today we've driven up into the high country of Victoria. Here we are, we're on the summit of Mount Sterling, one of the highest mountains in this part of Victoria. So I've been looking forward to this for a really long time. This is a part of Australia that I've never explored, especially not in a four-wheel drive. So here we go, let's get into it. Mountain tracks, river crossings, beautiful campsites. So where are we? We've driven, we were over here in the desert, we drove up all along the Murray River, and we're down here kind of in the heart of Victoria, which is the end of the Great Dividing Range. So Australia has one mountain range. It kind of runs like this, and it includes Australia's tallest mountain is about here. There's ski resorts here in Victoria. They're here in kind of New South Wales. So this is the big mountain range, the Great Dividing Range. We're kind of right on the southern tip of it, and we're going to explore a whole bunch of iconic four-wheel drive tracks in this part of Victoria as we cruise through the mountains, up and over alpine passes like this, down through river crossings. It's all coming up in today's episode. If you want to see the high country of Victoria, stick around. There's a lot to come.
Hello, my name's Kate Harris, and I really wanted to show you guys the summit tree behind us. It's a snow gum, and they guess it's about 300 years old. And this tree was actually, it was voted the number 2, the second best tree in Australia in 2016. So we thought that was pretty incredible. It's got an incredible view up here, and there you've got it, a snow gum. It can live in temperatures as cold as -18 Celsius. Pretty impressive.
just on the track here. I've just come down from Mount Sterling and I'm looking at the Monuments track now, which apparently is really good as well. And something that I've really noticed, this is a huge difference between the Gladiator and my Wrangler, is the breakover angle. And everybody always said, you know, the breakover angle on the Gladiator, because of the long wheelbase, it's different, it's not as good. And yeah, I just experienced it firsthand. So the tracks here, I guess they're designed to handle a lot of rain. So they have these really big, enormous water bar humps in them. So I'll just walk up so you can see what I mean. This one isn't too severe, but you can kind of see it's quite a decent little hump that really has a peak to it and then, you know, comes down again the other side. And I just scraped the Gladiator, scraped the belly on about 4 or 5 of them back there. And I have to say, in all my years around Africa and in Latin America, I never once scraped the belly of my previous Jeeps. And here I am scraping the Gladiator. So no doubt about it, the breakover angle is a thing. And of course, we are pretty heavily loaded right now, and I do have more fuel than I've ever had before. I have more water, I have more food. So there's no doubt about it, this vehicle is more capable in terms of long range travel, and I do need to upgrade the suspension. So the final piece on the build is to get that thing on some scales, figure out how much it weighs, and then spec out the appropriate suspension. And that will get me a little bit of lift as well, so I'll increase that breakover angle, but it is more about carrying the weight than it is about overall lift. And as I drive over this one, I'll get Katie to stand here and film it so you can see just how close I'm getting as I cross all of these. Here we are just off the side of the track. We're at a place called Bindaree Falls. We've just driven down Bindaree Road. Have a look at this. These are some stunning, stunning waterfalls. A little bit disappointed. There isn't much of a pool at the bottom to swim in, but I'll show you what makes up for it. Watch this. We get all the ferns, we get the falling water, and we get to walk all the way in behind the waterfall to fully be behind the cascade. I reckon that's pretty nice. So I feel like Australia doesn't have a massive amount of waterfalls because it doesn't have massive mountains, but whenever it does have waterfalls, they are really impressive. And really nice down here. I'm basically getting a little bit wet, but this is fully behind now, the cascade of the waterfall. There it is coming over the rock edge. Tell you what, pretty tempting to jump in and go for a shower, I reckon. Bindaree Falls, if you're ever up in the high country, don't miss it. This is really, really beautiful. So here we are in camp. The sun has just dipped below the horizon and it is crystal clear out here right now. There's barely a breath of wind and I haven't seen a cloud in hours. This is the spot we've found to camp tonight. So we've just been bumping along what I think is still the bluff track. I'm not actually even sure. And it's kind of up here on this ridge. And so there've been probably 20 spots that look like this, where you're just near the top of the ridge and there's a little clearing, there's a fire ring, there's plenty of room for the swag. And then these are the kind of views off into the distance. Check out the moon up there, it is incredible. And we just have this place all to ourselves. There's nobody else around. This is what I dreamed of when I thought about coming to the Victorian high country. This is what I dreamed of when I thought about exploring all of Australia. This is a place I've always wanted to visit in my whole life, and I'm sure you can see why. I don't want to be anywhere else in the world right now, just watching the sun go down. It's getting chilly, you can see I've got all my warm clothes on, and we might light a fire, or we might just go to bed. Get up tomorrow and have a whole new day of adventures. Looking forward to it. So this morning you've seen we've been on King Billy track for the last hour and a half, I guess. And there was, from camp, we did a whole bunch of switchbacks down, I guess, to Valley Bottom, a couple of little river crossings, beautiful valley we just drove through. And now we're still on King Billy track. We're about to climb up and over. And check it out, this is what my GPS is showing me. I've always said, this is when you know you're in the good stuff. Check out all those switchbacks that are coming shortly. That'll be up, then along a flat spot, and then all switchbacks down again before we get out to Hewitt Road, which is kind of the end of this track, I guess. But I always think it's fun when you see switchbacks like that on your GPS and you see you crossing a bunch of contour lines. Yeah, this should be pretty good. Good morning everyone. Here it is, another beautiful day up in the high country. We've just been on a hike to check out a couple of waterfalls, one of our favorite things here in the high country. And I thought I'd quickly show you, this is where we camped last night. So up here in the high country, there's these free campsites. They're more or less just sort of a pull in, there's picnic tables, there's fire spots. There's even a long drop toilet over there in the background. And kind of each site gets its own little, barbecue-y thing with the wood fire pit over there in the ground. And these are dotted all over the high country. They're, every 10 minutes when you're driving along. Some of them have stunning views, some of them have a creek nearby. So it's really great to have all these free campsites dotted around. Really makes it easy to get up here and explore. And of course they're free, so nice on the budget as well. And so today we're going to roam along. We know of another waterfall that we want to get to. Fingers crossed we're going to be able to swim in it. And then we're keeping our eyes on our fuel and on the weather as well. It's taken a bit of a turn. There's a lot of wind and there is a big storm coming. So we think we're going to head over to Dargo, which is kind of like the most famous town here in the high country. I know we can get fuel there. We can get a few supplies. We'll keep our eyes on the weather and we'll see what happens. I can't even remember anymore. This is about day number 4, I think, up here in the high country. So we'll resupply in Dargo and then we'll just head out and keep the adventures rolling up here in the magical Victorian high country. So we did a whole bunch more hiking and a whole bunch more exploring, and our Vic High Country adventure really is just getting underway. As predicted, the rain now is coming down in absolute sheets. We've had thunder, we've had lightning, and so right now we've got the whole batwing awning set up, we've got the walls there. In fact, I'm editing together this video right now as we speak on my laptop. So we're here in the Dargo pub, the Dargo Hotel, which is a super famous place here in the high country. Lots of shenanigans in the pub last night. There was an 18th birthday celebration and I'd forgotten what country Victoria was like. It was a really good reintroduction. So we're actually going to take a rest day today here in Dargo, do a bunch of computer work, re-gear, resupply, refuel, and tomorrow adventures continue here in the high country. So this really is just the beginning. I think this is day number 5. We have about that many days to go. More iconic tracks, more beautiful places. Stick around on The Road Chose Me, plenty of adventures to come. And if you'd like to go to the same places that we've been in this video, if you want to drive the same tracks as me, my GPS track logs, I'm putting them all online for my supporters over on Patreon. So there's a link in the video description if you want to see what's available on Patreon, the different support levels and the perks that you get. Not only are there GPS track logs, there's copies of my books, there's signed Christmas postcards, behind the scenes content, early access, all of that kind of stuff is over on Patreon now. So check it out over there. Until next time, have fun out there. Maybe I'll bump into you on the road. Here comes the thunder and lightning. Maybe not. Have fun out there.